this night is not really about me, it's about all the inductees, so they deserve a clap. And also, I'm not the individual that put all this together. It is a whole committee of about 17 people, coordinated by a young lady by the name of Chris Kuchar, so they deserve a round of applause. Just to give you a little background, the organization started in 1996, really from a grassroots effort, started by a gentleman, Bill Chase, who came to the town in 1995 and said we should really do something for our athletes that have come through Enfield, really contributed a lot. So Bill wrote me in fairly early, and the committee that we have here today pretty much has stayed with us for all 9 years, so that's quite an accomplishment. I'd like to introduce tonight's MC. He's a gentleman by the name of Tim Jensen. He's been with the organization for about 7 years now. He's done a tremendous job. He's a 1983 Fermi High School graduate. Tim is an on-air personality for Cameo Entertainment Group in Hartford. He's a producer of an internet radio show featuring Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and broadcasts. He also does sports broadcasting for Cox Communications. Again, he's been on the committee since 1999. He's one of 4 individuals that put so much time into coordinating the golf outing we have each year in May. Each year we have about 115 golfers that help raise funds for the scholarships we give to 2 high school students as well. We've been giving those scholarships for about 7 years. Ladies and gentlemen, give a big round of applause for Tim Jensen.
Thank you, Mike. Good evening, everybody. All right, let's try this again. We can do a little better than that. Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much. It's truly a pleasure for me to be here tonight to induct this great group of Hall of Famers. Growing up as an athlete here in the town of Enfield, and I'll pause for a moment while you look at me and say, he was an athlete? Yeah. But I was at one time, and being associated with many of the Hall of Famers and a lot of the people in this room tonight, it's truly an honor to be standing here to present the class of 2004. As Mike said, the Hall of Fame has started in 1996, and through the years, there have been numerous organizations, individuals that have contributed to the Hall of Fame success. In your program, on the next to last page, you'll see the names of many of the sponsors of the Hall of Fame. We do ask that you patronize our sponsors. They do an awful lot to contribute to the success of the Hall of Fame financially. Another of the big supporters of the Hall of Fame is the town of Enfield itself. We're included in the town's budget each year, and also the town has provided services to the Hall of Fame, such as when we moved last summer to our new location at the Enfield Senior Center, the town provided manpower to help us with that move. We really appreciate everything that the town has done for the Hall of Fame. At this time, on behalf of the town of Enfield, I'd like to introduce Louis Fiore, the Deputy Mayor of Enfield, who brings greetings from the town. Lou?
Good evening, everyone. There's not much I can say that I haven't already said for every year I come here. This organization is one of the backbones for the town of Enfield. Any time that a group of people come together every year to honor athletes and other people who have done things on behalf of the town, it's a wonderful thing. If you knew the amount of work that this organization did, I think you'd be astounded. But having said that, I have a proclamation here on behalf of Mayor Patrick Callery and the rest of the town council. And it's a little lengthy, so I am going to read it, if you don't mind. A proclamation honoring the Enfield Athletic Hall of Fame class of 2004. Whereas the Enfield Athletic Hall of Fame was established in 1996 to recognize past and present individuals who have made a significant athletic contribution to the town of Enfield. And whereas the class of 2004 inductees to the Enfield Athletic Hall of Fame consist of Bill Canton, Leo Arnone, Karen Ebert Gowan, Elaine Levine Powell, and Robert Lynn. And whereas the Enfield Athletic Hall of Fame Committee will also honor John Nasso and Ben Peralt with the George Daly Jr. Special Recognition Award. And whereas the Enfield Enfield Athletic Hall of Fame Committee will also honor the 1953 Enfield High School Football Pioneer Valley League Championship team and the 1953-54 Enfield High School Basketball Valley Wheel Championship team. And whereas inductees and award recipients will be honored at the 8th, imagine that, annual induction ceremony to be held September 18, 2004 at the Radisson Hotel in Enfield, Connecticut. Now therefore be it proclaimed that I, Patrick L. Calarita, Mayor, on behalf of the town of Enfield and its citizens, do hereby congratulate the Enfield Athletic Hall of Fame class of 2004 inductees, the George Daly Special Recognition Award recipients, and the Enfield High School Football Pioneer Valley League Championship team, and the 1953-1954 Enfield High School Basketball Valley Wheel Championship team. Be it further resolved that I hereby declare September 18, 2004, the Enfield Athletic Hall of Fame Day in the town of Enfield. I can give this to just my final word for me personally tonight here, this is my 5th or 6th year doing this, I believe. It's a personal note, because for myself, my cousin, Lou Fiore, from out of Florida, as part of that 53 football team, I know he's sitting over there, and my old classmate, Bob Lynn, from high school. My old classmate, Bob Lynn, is here tonight. So for me, it's also a special moment, so I want to thank both those guys.
Thank you very much, Lou. As I mentioned, I grew up as an athlete here in the town of Enfield, and my folks raised 5 of us. 4 of us played sports, and 1 of them was a cheerleader, so they were pretty busy in the 70s, and shuffling all of us from game to game. And I'm very, very honored to say that my folks are able to join us here tonight, sitting in the back. And I do have to tell you something that my mother has always said, but all those kids, all those sports, hardly ever did they ever miss one. My mom for years has said, if there was ever an award for the town's most avid athletic supporter, they would be it. I'm really pleased to have them here with us. Being a member of the Hall of Fame Committee has been a big thrill for me because I get to really dig into the history of this town, and it's just phenomenal, the things that have happened athletically in this town. And there's still great things going on today. I get to occasionally participate in things such as school functions. About last fall, Mike Cotner and 2003 Hall of Famer Dick Nelson and myself appeared over at Henry Barnard. We addressed all 60 of the 6th grade students at Henry Barnard. And we got this. Each one of those kids took the time to write us a thank you note, and I wanted to share one of them with you to show what athletics in this town really means. It says, "Dear Mr. Nelson, Mr. Jensen, and Mr. Cotton, thank you so much for the presentation. You inspired me to always try my hardest and to set goals. It is surprising what people from Enfield did. I never thought people in Enfield ever were famous sports players. Most people work in large companies. I couldn't believe what people from our community can do when they set their minds to it. Ever since I was young, I wanted to be an author. It has been my life goal. Your presentation inspired me to achieve this goal. I hope you show this presentation to all the 6th grades. Everyone needs encouragement." And that's signed Kayla Brown, an 11-year-old girl. Said she was inspired by the words. It wasn't really me and Mike, it was Dick Nelson who gave the most inspirational talk I've ever seen at that school. There were 60 kids that didn't say one word during that presentation. They were captivated by what Dick had to say about his experience in Major League Baseball. And every one of those kids lined up to get his autograph when that was over. It was just a wonderful thing to see. And then to get a whole flock of thank you notes from them really made it worthwhile that we've reached the young kids out there. Great things are going on today, even. In this past spring, the Enfield High School basketball team accomplished a first, the Division IV High School State Championship. Enfield High School State. The Hall of Fame recognized them with a function of the Basketball Hall of Fame on August the 1st. you probably won't be able to see this. This is the Enfield Press of July the 22nd. And this great big guy right here in the middle is Dwight Howard. Some of you may know who he is. He was the #1 draft pick in the National Basketball Association this past year. The other people in this picture are all the National High School Players of the Year for all the sports. This picture was taken in Los Angeles at the annual ESPY Awards. The ESPY Awards, a sports award show on ESPN, founded by former Enfield resident, 1999 Hall of Famer Bill Rasmussen. Right here on the end is the National High School Soccer Player of the Year. His name is Patrick Phelan, and he resides in Enfield, Connecticut. Yep. The Hall of Fame is going to honor Patrick for his achievement tonight. He's not able to be with us because he is currently at Wake Forest University, where he's a freshman starter on Wake Forest soccer team. But he did send us a note that he wanted me to pass on to everybody here. I spend so much time on the soccer pitch, sometimes it seems I have always played the game. But in fact, I started at the age of 4 in Enfield. I played for fun. I played with and against my friends. And I was always trying to be the best I could be at the game. My first real soccer achievement came as a member of the Enfield attached U12 team that became the first team from Enfield ever to win a Connecticut State Cup championship. That was a big deal, and it felt good. I always wanted my team to be the best. I was proud of my contribution as a freshman and sophomore at Fermi High School, where we played ourselves right into the CIAC state tournament both years. I know Coach Jim Russell was proud of the team effort as well. But I found that becoming better requires a lot more than just playing as much soccer as you can. It means finding the best teams you can play on, so you can always be challenged by the best competition. You learn to become better by learning from the best. To find that level of competition, I have now played on 3 different continents over the past several years. Always, I was representing the United States, either on a regional Olympic development program team or a U.S. national team. It's important, however, not to overlook the fact that wherever I was still representing Enfield, Connecticut. So now I'm listed on the roster of Wake Forest University, and at the start of each game, they announce me as a member of the starting team with these words. Number 5, at defender, a freshman from Enfield, Connecticut, Patrick Phelan. I'm happy to represent Enfield and the sports programs in this way, and I'm very grateful that Enfield has recognized my efforts to reach the international soccer level of play. Thank you so much, and I will try my hardest to make Enfield proud of me for years to come. Signed, Patrick Phelan. An 18-year-old college freshman talking about how much Enfield means to him. Earlier I mentioned that I grew up as an athlete playing baseball and hockey here in the town of Enfield. And the kid that I played with is here in this room tonight, Brian Bailey. He lived a couple of neighborhoods away. Brian's dad, George, was always coaching, officiating, he was always doing something to be involved with sports here in the town of Enfield. George Bailey went on to become one of the original members of the Hall of Fame Committee in 1995. Unfortunately, in 1996, George passed away just 3 days before the first induction ceremony. In 1997, the Hall of Fame Committee established the George Daly Special Recognition Award in George's memory. Here tonight to present the George Daly Award is George's widow, Elena Daly.
Pleasure to be here tonight. My family and I want to thank the committee for establishing the Special Recognition Award in George's name. George's affection and enthusiasm for the Hall of Fame was irresistible. I know he is smiling down on us tonight. I want to congratulate the Hall of Fame Committee for the amazing job they do every year in putting together a special event. I also want to extend my sincere congratulations to all of the inductees here tonight. Thank you.
I started playing hockey in 1975 at the then brand new Enfield Twin Rinks. There was probably 300 to 400 kids playing hockey at that time. And since then, there's been a number of championship banners put up over at the Twin Rinks, both on the Pee-wee, squirt, bantam level, all the way up through the 5 state championships that have been won between Fermi and Enfield High School. The first being in 1982, and then the, of course, dual championship, Division I from Enfield High and Division II from Fermi in 1983, March 17, 1983, one of the greatest days in Enfield sports history. None of that would have been possible if not for the efforts of two men. John Nasto and Ben Perall started the Enfield Hockey Association in 1970. They started from nothing. In fact, to raise funds to field the very first team, they went door to door with 1-pound bags of soap powder. They raised enough to field the first team of 20 kids, and the very first game was over in Suffield, on Mountain Road at an outdoor rink. I remember a bunch of the fathers, including my dad, out there shoveling off the ice. And the score of that very first game was Suffield 0, Enfield 0. Except Suffield 0 had a 2 in front of it. However, from those very humble beginnings, the organization just grew through the dedication and hard work of coaches and volunteers and parents, and particularly the two men who founded that organization. It's my pleasure to introduce the co-recipients of the George Daly Special Recognition Award, John Nasto, who unfortunately could not be with us tonight due to a family function, and the other co-founder is Ben Perall. Ladies and gentlemen, representing John Nasto is his son, one of the original players from that team, Carl Nasto.
Thank you very much. My dad couldn't make it here tonight. He had a family obligation out in the Midwest. Something like this doesn't happen, though, just because of a couple of guys. There's a lot of people involved. I can tell you as one of the kids, there were a lot of people who made quite a difference. For example, there used to be a rink behind JFK. There used to be another rink at Grant Park. Angelo Romano, who was the Parks and Recreation Director, helped us get those 2 rinks up so we had a place to skate. We also ended up, as we just mentioned, that we were selling soap door to door. There was a guy named Paul Zimbar who was a Giants fan. He took us around on Sundays in his car with bags of soap in the back, listening to the Giants game, smoking a cigar, as we went through all the neighborhoods selling soap. I always asked my dad, why do we sell soap? The baseball team sold candy, and the Ramblers and the Lancers, they sold candy. He said, well, not everyone likes candy, Carl, but everyone needs to be clean. So, the next year after that, we were playing in West Hartford, and Paul Hughes, Bob Hughes was also a member of the association. His son and I were in the backseat of my dad's car. Somehow we impressed upon him that we should sell candy that year. So there was a box of candy in the backseat. And we got done with practice, and Paul gets in next to me, and he's eating the candy bars on the way home. And about after like half an hour, he looks at me and he goes, geez, I don't feel so good. Next thing you know, he got sick, and my dad turned around in the car, he stopped the car, and he got out to help Paul. And he looked at me and he said, like I told you, Carl, not everybody likes candy. There was also another gentleman, Al Gatto, who took a bunch of pond hockey players who never played organized hockey before down to South Windsor for a tournament, and it was almost like Enfield's version of Mystery Alaska. They beat the vaunted South Windsor program 3-2 in the final game with guys like Jimmy Rotatori, Corey Fisher, Carl Brewer, Jim Dwyer. It was an unbelievable hockey game. I'll tell you, a lot of people got hooked that night. My dad's very proud of this honor. We loved Enfield. It was a great place to grow up. And we just wanted to thank people like Bill Snyder and some of the others who put in so much effort to make Enfield hockey games today. Thank you very much.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I played as a goaltender for 17 years, and most of the time I tried to stop the slap shot. But tonight, Tim Jensen threw me a curve and a slap shot from the point that I couldn't stop. My whole presentation was predicated on being the last speaker of the evening. And I was told to keep it under 35 minutes. No, maybe not. Maybe it's 3 to 5 minutes. But all kidding aside, it came as a great surprise to me when I was informed that I would be among the 64-plus plaques on the billiard room wall at the new Enfield Senior Center, which was quite an honor for me. And I want to say a special thank you to the entire committee for this honor. But as I stand here receiving these accolades, I must take a moment and say, I fully realize that there are so many people that gave of their time and their energy and everything else to make this thing work. As we know, the Enfield Hockey Association's success as we know it today, so many people deserve a big thank you for all they've done. Also, in the formative years, I had a great partner in co-founder John Masco. John was a driving force in keeping things in line, keeping things on schedule, and getting things done. He was a great man to work with. I was going to make a list of all the individuals who worked with us when we first started. But there lies the danger of forgetting somebody quite worthy. And so many, again, deserve a big thank you for all they did. And they gave, and they gave. The list would have been long. In closing, let me say that our young future hockey players need a lot of great people to emulate and fewer critics. For me, in closing, this will be engraved in my heart as a most memorable evening. Thank you very much.
I mentioned the dual state championship hockey teams from 1983, and I was there in New Haven when that happened, and it was a great day on March 17, 1983. Sometimes in this town, there's entire years that are great. Such was the case with the 1953-54 school year. That was a banner year for Enfield High School. The football team was the Pioneer Valley League champions, and the basketball team turned around and said, we can do that too. And they won the Valley Wheel. Tonight, we're going to induct both of those teams in the team induction category into the Enfield Athletic Hall of Fame. At this time, I'd like to introduce a man inducted into our Hall of Fame in the year 2002, who was a member of both the football and the basketball teams, Mr. Bob Hersing. Bob?
probably one of the greatest players that we've ever seen. And appendicitis is back, and he's lost for the entire season. A pre-game warm-ups before our first game, on Saturday. The starting halfback and starting guard ran into each other. On the pre-warm-up drill, one had a broken nose and the other had dislocated shoulder. So before the first kickoff, we lost 3 starters. And yet, through the resilience of Carly York and Joe Miles, to put out a football team that went on undefeated in the Valleyville Championship for the Pioneer Valley. And I would like to introduce the fellows who are here today that were part of that team. And I'll start with the seniors first, because really it was their year. 2002, inducted into the Hall of Fame, Jack Solomon. Jack, you please stand. You stand as I call your name. Reporter, as I call your name. Jack was our things that we stand down to the couple and that is the high school has seen before and this is time. Starting with halfback, very close personal friend of mine. Went together a couple of trips to Italy. Mario De Goro. One of the greatest guys we had on that team. Got shortchanged the first game, but he came to bounce back with John Mitchell. Perhaps one of the best guards and tackles in Israel I have seen that time. Another senior, Nick Long. The fellows on that team who were underclassmen, either sophomores or juniors. Dick Malone was a starting guard, goalie guard. And at practice, he had him come in and block Jack Solomon. And the coach and Philip was there, like, we can block Jack Solomon now, we'll play, you can block anybody in the league. Dick probably still carries a few pieces of that. Another tackle on that team, the junior, one of my very close personal friend and very good football player. Dario was hot. Gritty, defensive end, and when he became a senior, really both ways, Stanley Fisher. Probably one of our toughest games that year, we went to Holyoke Catholic and played their team on McKenzie Stadium, and it was scoreless at halftime. Both teams were undefeated. We were the underdog. And at the start of the second period, Bob Barry took a handoff and raced about 80 yards, set up the first touchdown of the game. We went on to 25-0. One of the fastest guys we've ever had, my friend Bob Barry. Another one of our good ball players. I think I passed the bill I have. Seen that mark in the team. Helpless in our year before the team. Another green back. played tackle in college. Very pretty fellow. He's our class president of our graduating class, Lou Fiore. One of the tackles on our team was a sophomore, and he came into his own that year and did a great job the following year during our senior year. Dave Martin. Of course, no team can go too far without the support, past members of people that helping us out with the equipment involved, making sure that we attended to any line injuries we had. We had three of the fellows that are here today did an outstanding job for that football team. Jim Viola. Arthur Gerard. And Tommy Ogle. Now, is there anyone here who I didn't call? They had to be dismissed as I walked through the door.
At this time, we will proceed with tonight's program. And I'm going to reintroduce Bob Persick to present the members of the 1953-54 Valley Wheel Championship basketball team from Enfield High School. And Bob, I forgot to mention this, one of the members of the football team did donate a game ball from the 53 season for us to display in a Hall of Fame showcase. So I just want to basketball to Bob.
And once again, this is going to be rather brief because I think the only person introduced from the team is Vic Perron. Vic, will you come up here? Vic is supposed to be here. He's right here. You haven't seen him. And the team was a good team. It was primarily juniors and seniors that were the did most of the ownership. Stretch Raymond, Peter Michelle, the captain, Wally Deneen, Jack Sarai with Dick Rome, and did most of the work on that game. But a great team, great coaching staff, and I don't know where everybody else is, but I'm not here.
Well, the time has arrived for the induction of the class of 2004. Five new legends joining the ranks of Enfield's greatest. Before we get to tonight's five, though, there are a few VIPs here tonight that I would like to please stand when I call your name and remain standing until I'm done. John Bloomstrand. Bob Rummage. Tony Rummage. Howard Rummage. Any of those Rummages in the room? Three is great. There's three great ones. Big D, Paul Da Silva. Marion Dibble. Joe Rowland. Bonnie Good. And Kenny Good. Bob Keller. Sharon LeBret. Mike Marshall. Bob Mercer. Dick Nelson. Matt Wilson. Amy Romano. Jack Solomon. Rhea Zagando. Ben Crowley. Bill Keane. Andy Turcott. And Russ Tyler. Former Hall of Famers and joining us this evening. They blazed the trail for tonight's class, and we should give them all one more big round of applause. On somewhat of a more serious note, since we've all last met last September, we've lost three members of the Hall of Fame family, and I did want to mention those men from the 1948 Enfield High School Championship football team, John Devanero and Tom Whiteley, and Hall of Fame class of 1999 inductee, Wally Lagenza. So please take a moment to remember these fine gentlemen. And now the time is here for the class of 2004. As I said, 5 more legends going into the Hall of Fame tonight. And to start out, trying to think of something that I can use for a visual, but I really can't. Picture 2 of me, okay? Yeah, half more of me. That'd be about 620 pounds. Yeah, afraid so. 620 pounds. That's what Leo Arnone lifted. 620 pounds. Quite a long way to come from a skinny little kid that used to get beaten up in the neighborhood once a week. So he took up weightlifting. And once he did that, it remained his lifetime passion to this day. Went into the service and won every weightlifting competition and bodybuilding that there was. And as you saw in the media presentation, that was quite a physique for bodybuilding. In '57, he entered the New England YMCA Championships and won his weight division by more than 100 pounds over the runner-up. Pretty impressive feat. He later on was a recipient of the Amos Alonzo Stagg Medal by Courier from President Kennedy for the achievement of a 50-mile continuous walk. Only he and fellow Hall of Famer Angelo Lamagna were able to complete that. He spent over 35 years in service to the town of Enfield, retiring in 1986 from the Enfield Police Department. He's being presented tonight by 2001 Hall of Famer Sharon Lebrecht. Please welcome tonight's first inductee, Leo Arnone.
I had a lot to say before I came here, but I lost it all. I would like to thank all the people involved in this Hall of Fame and my family, and most of all, my biggest heartbreak is that my wife isn't here to see this, because she would have enjoyed it, because she was a peach of a person. Never interfered in anything I had to do. No, all I got to say is right now I'm still in shock. And I want to thank everybody, and this is the thrill of my life. Thank you all.
I know you're going to laugh and say, no way, but I was a distance runner. 100 pounds ago, and quite a lot of hair ago, I was a distance runner. I participated in track and cross country, probably the 2 least glamorous sports that there are. Well, track and field is pretty glamorous. You could probably name some of the great sprinters like Marion Jones and Ben Johnson, Carl Lewis. Who won the mile in the Olympics last month? Did he even still have the mile? Don't know. Bill Canton was one of the greatest distance runners this town has ever seen. He was the conference champion twice, knocking 15 seconds off his time from the time that he won it as a sophomore until he was a senior. He even finished second in the state open in the 2-mile run while just a junior in high school. He went on to the University of Connecticut, running cross country in both indoor and outdoor track, breaking 6 Yukon track records, including the indoor mile, 4:08. Can't imagine that. He won 4 Yankee Conference championship titles in cross country, breaking the course record, and the indoor 1-mile, 2-mile, and the outdoor mile. He qualified for the NCAA championship in Houston, Texas. He then entered the military, and while in the Navy, broke 3 records in one single meet at a military base, retiring 5 years ago after 24 years of service. He's being presented tonight by 2000, Hall of Fame inductee John Bloomstrand. Please welcome Mr. Bill Canton.
Good evening. I have a few more words than Leo. I'm just glad that there's not a muscle requirement to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. It's both an honor and a pleasure to have been elected into the Enfield Athletic Hall of Fame. First of all, I would like to, like it's been said a couple of times, thank all the volunteers and the members of the committee for all the work they did, especially the ones who put this evening together. And a person whose name has not been mentioned is Carl, who's doing all the photography. Thanks, Carl. There are many persons that are responsible for me being here tonight. Before I talk about them, I would like to say a little about Enfield. Enfield, Connecticut, which was Enfield, Massachusetts until 1749, if you didn't know that, was a great place to grow up. And it was Enfield citizens who are what gave it its value. My parents, my siblings, my teachers, classmates, teammates, and coaches, they're the ones that helped shape me in my life. So as I grew up and traveled all over the United States, I tried to emulate some of the traits of those people that impacted me so that I could be supportive to people, both young and old, and that I came in contact with. Because I knew that as a competitive runner and as an officer in the United States Navy, I'd been given opportunities that I did not think were possible for a skinny kid from Condon Drive in Southwood Acres. And I also realized that, as been said tonight in one of the letters, that I was an ambassador of my family, in my town, in my country, and my God. I must really like Enfield because not only do I live here now, but I moved here 3 times. In 1956, I tagged along with my parents as a 3-year-old, and then in 1986, when I finished my last duty station, I moved here from Hawaii. And then I moved here again with my wife in 1995 to support my mom after my dad passed away. My mom, who still lives in town also, told me that she is looking forward to going to the Senior Citizen Center and saying, "That's my boy." Mom, thanks for all the love and support that you gave to us kids and to Dad. Thank you. My dad was my #1 fan, and he would have been proud to have been here tonight. He was a letter carrier with the post office, and that allowed him to be at many of my high school and college meets, both home and away. He would use his vacation time to be able to drive all over New England to attend meets to support my teammates and me. I count it a blessing to have had a father that loved his wife and worked hard to support his family, and still made time to teach me the guy things and to support my running pursuits. I would also like to thank my wife Mary for going to the Enfield Home Show this year and stopping at the Hall of Fame booth and finding out about that and getting the idea to nominate me. We got married after my competitive running career was over, so all she has is photographs and stories. And my wife graduated from the University of Northern Iowa, and for you football fans, that's the same college that Kurt Warner attended. John Bloomstrand, what can I say? I met him when I was 3 years old and he was 2. Now that fits the definition of a childhood friend. As John and I were growing up together with his brother and other guys from Southwood Acres, we played all kinds of sports in this town of Enfield: baseball and tackle and touch football in the fields and grass at Mark Twain, and wiffle ball in the street. And in the winter, it's been said a couple of times, we carried shovels to clear the snow from local ponds to play hockey for hours and hours. Ben and John had not yet started the Enfield Hockey Association at that time, and we even shoveled snow on Saturday mornings at the Mark Twain basketball court so that we could play there in the afternoons on Saturday. An unnamed group of men that I would like to thank are the ones who faithfully unlocked buildings and refereed basketball games in this town on Saturdays and weekday evenings at different locations throughout the town, including the brick historic building that was erected as a community center by Colonel Hazard in 1869, the historic Hazardville Institute. It had a short, narrow basketball court on the second floor, for those of you who remember. Now I'd like to publicly acknowledge and thank the coaches who defined my career. They were my first real ever coach, Bob Keller, at the former Kazushu Junior High School. He's here tonight. Bill Teed, I played junior varsity soccer in high school, and that's why I went to track, because Bill Teed was my coach. Bruce Marmack and Bob Kramer were at Enfield High School. Bruce is present here tonight, and he greatly increased my training regimen and taught me strategies he had learned as a runner at Springfield College. Thanks, Bruce. Bill Barron was an East Hartford High School coach. Enfield did not have a cross-country team, and every day after school I drove to East Hartford and trained with them, and that was my senior year. And lastly, Bill Kelleher and Bob Kennedy were my coaches at UConn. In conclusion, I hope tonight that I drove home the point that accomplishments and accolades are great, but it's really the journey and the forged relationships that are important. Some of my fondest memories include the neighborhood pickup football games, Boy Scout camping trips, family outings to White Mountains, the smell of Connecticut trees during the fall cross-country season, and bus rides with high school and college classmates to places like Palmer, Mass., New London, Connecticut, Orono, Williamsburg, Virginia, and New York City. So I just want to take this opportunity to remind you to take full advantage of your own God-given abilities. Thank you.
In the mid to late 1980s, I spent a few years working over at Kennedy Middle School and attended a lot of sporting events over there, and even umpired some baseball and softball games. And I was talking with Dave Emery, who used to teach over there one time. He was the field hockey coach. And I said to him, there's this kid that really seems to be better than everybody else. And he looked at me and he said, Tim, that girl's going to make it big. That girl was Karen Hebert. Make it big she did. All-state in everything. 4 years all-state in field hockey at Enfield High School. Two-time state champions, as you saw in the presentation, 1992 and 93. And then after she left, they won it again in 94, just for kicks. But she was captain of everything in high school. Maybe all 18 in basketball each year, just one of the greatest all-around athletes in Enfield history. She then went to the University of Maine, playing on 2 ECAC championship teams and captaining the squad in 1997. She's now involved in coaching right back here in Enfield. She's being presented tonight by one of the charter members of the Hall of Fame, the class of 1996, Coach Cookie Brummage. Please welcome our next Hall of Famer for 2004, Karen Hebert.
Thank you very much. I would like to begin by congratulating all the other inductees for their accomplishments. It's such an honor for me to be inducted with such a well-respected class. I would also like to thank the Enfield Athletic Hall of Fame Committee for their 9 years of hard work, making this honor so special for so many people. I also say a very special thank you to my parents for all they have done and all they continue to do. are my heroes and have made a huge impact on my life. Thank you for all the expenses, traveling, advice, cheering me on, and believing in me. Thank you for supporting me through the good times and the bad. Mom and Dad, I am proud to be your daughter, and thank you for loving me. I also would like to express my deep appreciation to my brothers and sisters. I come from an athletic family, and my accomplishments wouldn't have been possible without the encouragement and leadership. I would like to thank my husband, who is unconditional in his support, and all my family and friends that came here tonight to celebrate my induction. Athletics has always played an enormous part of my life. At age 9, I remember when my father would hit ground balls at me, and I'd tell him, "You're hitting them too hard." He would just look at me and smile, and then he would hit another one harder. Besides my father, I have many coaches throughout my athletic career to thank. I would like to mention a few who have been a major influence. My junior high school basketball coach, Charlene Loria, and my field hockey coach, David Emery, which made athletics fun and taught me the concept of the game. You brought the enjoyment of sports, and I thank you for that. Thank you to Nancy Gigalone for her dedication as my high school field hockey coach. You truly were an inspiration to me. I also like to thank Mark Caruso and Ralph Serrato, my high school basketball coaches, for preparing me for Division I athletics. They knew what it would take for me to handle the Division I coaches. There are two exceptional people that I deeply admire, Mr. and Mrs. Brummage. I'd like to thank Mr. Brummage for all his advice he has given me, also for letting me know in his distinctive way the games in which I did not play well. Thank you, Mr. B. Mrs. Brummage, you have been the perfect role model. You have gone out of your way for me and have shown great care. I thank you for the dedication and the tremendous support you have given me throughout my field hockey career. Mrs. B, I cherish our friendship and I love you. This award belongs as much to my teammates as it does to me. My accomplishments wouldn't be possible without my teammates. I have played on team sports, and my individual accomplishments are much theirs as they are mine. There are just too many teammates to thank, but I would like to thank one that has supported me tremendously. Kate Tyler, you are a great friend. You have supported me throughout my career, and it has not gone unnoticed. It was an honor to have played with you and to be your friend. I love you, KT. I was privileged and honored to have the opportunity to play with my sister Erica and share 2 state field hockey championships. Erica was a much more skilled player than I, and on the field, I would catch myself just watching. I just wanted to thank her for showing me up on the field. I would also like to thank Lori Riley from the Hartford Current and Kevin Johnson from the Enfield Press. It was always a pleasure to talk with these special reporters. Thank you for the support and the long hours of work. I also thank you for the wonderful articles written and continue to be written about Enfield athletics. My night would not be concluded if I didn't thank Russell Tyler. When I was in college, I would work out lacrosse, and these were not any ordinary workouts. He basically would torture me with these strenuous workouts. He would have me up at 6 a.m. for a constant 60-minute swim, and then a 20 to 50-mile bike ride in the afternoon. Russ, thank you for all the sweat, the laughs, the endless pain, and the encouragement and support throughout my career. In closing, I am grateful to the town of Enfield for creating opportunities for myself and, most importantly, for females in this town. It truly is an honor to have grown up and lived in Enfield. It's a wonderful tribute to be inducted into the Enfield Athletic Hall of Fame for myself, my family, my coaches, and all my teammates. I thank you once again.
Penny High School. You know him? Penny High School used to be in East Hartford, and they closed in the early 80s. They didn't. They merged with East Hartford High School. Something about budget, saving money. And I think their downfall started on May the 4th, 1977. That was the day that their softball team recorded exactly 0 hits against Enfield High School's Elaine Levine. That no-hitter was the culmination of an outstanding three-sport high school career where she made the all-CCIL first team in field hockey and softball. She then played semi-pro softball up in Westfield, Massachusetts, and went on to Central Connecticut State College, now Central Connecticut State University, playing softball for 4 years, captaining the squad in her senior year. In 1981, she made the New England Division first team All-Star team. She since then has played and coached for numerous years in the Enfield Women's Softball League. The ring is being presented by 1996 Hall of Fame inductee Leah Secondo. Please welcome our next inductee, Elaine Levine.
I'm honored to be here this evening to accept this induction into the Enfield Athletic Hall of Fame. I would like to thank the committee for this opportunity you've given me. Sports has always been a love for me, so to be honored for something that has been a part of my life forever is a great thrill. I would like to thank all the coaches I've had over the years. But a special thank you goes out to my very first coach, my dad. Dad, I want to thank you for always being there, whether you were coaching the team I was playing on or just watching a game I was playing in. Some of my fondest memories of growing up are sitting at the dinner table after a high school game with you, talking about the game or strategies used by the coaches and how much you disagreed with some of them. Or me trying to explain the game of field hockey to you. That is what makes you so special. Even though you didn't understand a thing about what was happening on the field hockey field, you told me countless times that watching field hockey is like watching paint dry. We're at every game cheering myself and my teammates on, and now I'll be doing the same watching your granddaughter play field hockey. I do want to share that my father still is a pretty good coach, as he coached a championship team for the Enfield Girls Basketball Softball League this year at ages 9 to 11. While my father was there for me to talk about or watch games I played in, it was my mother who drove me to the endless number of practices or games that I had, and I thank you for that. While I am grateful to you for all you have done for me as it pertains to sports, I am more thankful to have had you as a loving mother and someone I am proud to call my best friend. I would also like to thank all of my teammates I have played with over the years. I have been blessed to play with some very talented ball players, some who are already in this Hall of Fame. But I would really like to talk about one special group of teammates who I owe this induction to, and that would be the Raleigh girls. Without this group writing a letter to the committee telling them how much they believed in my nomination, I would not be standing in front of you tonight. While these girls are great teammates, they are even better friends and human beings. And I want to take this opportunity to thank them for their love and friendship towards myself and my family. I would like to close by telling my parents how much I love them and thank them for their support through the years, not only with my sports activities, but in helping me raise two beautiful girls. And to my daughters who will listen to the show, I love you, and there's nothing in the world that makes me prouder than you. Thank you.
chance to catch the Ryder Cup today? I don't saw part of it. How did Woods and Love do? They lost? Well, forget it, we're out of here. Two of the greatest golfers of all time, Davis Love and Tiger Woods, playing together today in the Ryder Cup. I bring up Davis Love for a reason. He's the third leading money winner in the history of the PGA Tour. But 20 years ago, he was one of the guys playing in the United States Amateur, which is the most prestigious amateur golf tournament in the world. In the slideshow, you saw Davis Love's name up on the scoreboard, and that's alphabetical, and right above it was the name of Robert Lynn, the pride of Enfield, Connecticut. Bob was the medalist for the Connecticut qualifier for the United States Amateur. The United States Amateur Golf Tournament, only 280 golfers from around the country qualify to participate in this event out of the over 8,000 that attempt to get in. A year later, Bob was medalist once again at the Connecticut qualifier for another prestigious national championship, the United States Public Links Championship, which that year was held in Hawaii. He narrowly missed the cut for match play both times, but that was the culmination of an outstanding golfing career that began back when he was about 10 years old. He was the low scorer medalist at the Connecticut CYO tournament on 2 different occasions, competing in the New England Championships, and he was a member of the amateur team for the inaugural Julius Boros Challenge Cup, which pits the best 12 professionals from Connecticut against the best 12 amateurs. Bob was a member of the original amateur squad. He's a 5-time champion of the Cedar Knot Men's Club. And if you saw in the media presentation, he hiked the Appalachian Trail, over 2,000 miles of it. In fact, on his birthday, in 1977, he was on the Appalachian Trail when Elaine Levine drove the nail into Penny High School on May 4th. Bob has been a teacher and coach of golf while continuing to remain active. In fact, his 1992 Ellington High School team won the NCCC title and placed 4th in the state championship. Bob is being presented tonight by 2001 Hall of Famer Bob Brummage. Please welcome tonight's final inductee, Bob Lynn.
This evening by thanking all members of the Hall of Fame Committee for whose tireless efforts this event becomes a reality each year. Special thanks to my good friend Scott Merrick for encouraging me to submit my biography. I'm truly honored to be joining such a distinguished group of athletes, some of whom I know, some of whom I've only read about, each with their own impressive accomplishments. I'm able to accept this award this evening because of the many people that have helped me along the way. I would like to thank all my childhood friends with whom I spent countless hours practicing and playing golf on the property of Hallmark Cards at Manning Road. Those are days I will never forget. I must thank my 2 sisters, Nora and Roberta, for continually picking up my slack when it came time to do household chores, so that I may take that time to practice and play with my friends, and that's it. Bob Brummage was my first coach when I played ice hockey at junior high school. Although he wasn't a great skater, he was all we wanted in a coach. He was firm but always fair, something that I tried to emulate when I coached golf at Ellington High School. As a sophomore at Enfield High, I played on the golf team. Our coach was Bob Lingle. Of the many things he taught us, one was a simple saying that I still draw confidence from. Before a match, Bob would always remind us that the pants on, one leg at a time. Bob would later be my gym teacher at Fermi High School, and I must thank him for allowing me to practice my golf while all the other students played tennis. And thank you, Bob, for your foresight. I must thank all my friends at the Cedar Knot Men's Club for over 30 years of incredible camaraderie and support. In particular, I would like to thank my longtime friend, Steve Turner, for all the great rivalries and partnerships throughout the years. There are a lot of athletes in this room, but none is a fiercer competitor. Steve, by the way, has 7 club championships. Steve for all the years of competition. I married my wife, Judy, in January of 1979. I had not been playing golf for about 3 years. I remember a day that spring that same year, I was about to mow the lawn, when she came out and said, "I'll do that, why don't you go play golf?" Well, the next thing I knew, it was September. The yard was full of leaves, and I still had a lot of golf to play. So I had to go buy her a rake. I guess what I'm saying is, even though it was your idea, thank you for allowing me the time. Besides my father, the one person that had the most influence upon my golf game was Joe Serrato. I learned more from Joe than I have time to tell you about. But most importantly, Joe taught me that a bad shot was not the end, but merely the beginning of the fun part of golf. Joe taught me how to adjust and invent shots so that I might save myself from near disaster. Many times I called Joe in a panic because my swing was faltering and I had a tournament the next day. Joe would drop what he was doing and meet me at the range and help me try to work it out. I thank you, Joe, for all the years of interest. Years ago, I met Maureen Dumont. She was 10 years old and loved every sport ever played. Unfortunately, she was born with a rare blood disease that some days didn't allow her to get out of bed, let alone play sports. She now plays on the Fermi field hockey team. From her, I gained inspiration and perspective. I thank you, Maureen, for being so strong. I'd like to thank my mother for all the rides to and from the golf courses, and for saying no when I wanted to play football in high school. You probably saved my life. At least my arms and legs. But most importantly, I would like to thank her for teaching me, although I didn't always want to hear it, that life is not always a bowl of cherries. I thank you, Mom, for letting me make my own mistakes. When I was 10 years old, my father replaced my baseball bat with a golf club. And right away I thought, what a great idea. Stationary ball. The next year he introduced me to caddying. Therefore it saved me from the tobacco fields and allowed me a first-hand look at the game I would come to love. My father was my first teacher. He used to take me out the lot behind our house. He'd drop down a couple of balls and swing away. One would go left, and the other would go right. And he'd immediately look up and say, "Just don't swing like that, and you'll do fine."
father was the best caddy I ever had. It's like he would take my nervousness for 4 or 5 hours so that I could perform at my highest ability. Anything that I ever won, he was right there with me. But most of all, my father was my biggest fan. Never bragging of my success, and always there when I needed a dose of optimism. Thank you, Dad, for taking the bat out of my hands. I would like to leave you with a few thoughts that come from just some of the lessons that I've learned along the way. Can you play a game without retaliating just because someone looks at you wrong? Can you play your best game and then not act like you just saved the world? Can you accept the coach's or referee's decision without reservation? Can you pass on your knowledge so that someday someone might break all your records? Can you spell team without an I? Can you play as hard in defeat as you would in victory? And more importantly, can you accept defeat without a list of excuses? If your answers are yes, you have upheld the integrity of whatever game you play. And that is all any athlete should ever be concerned with. The rest will come as a byproduct of that integrity. To the parents of young athletes, enlist your children in the games. Thank your lucky stars they're healthy enough to even compete. Encourage, but do not push. And then simply sit back and become an unbiased spectator, which may be the hardest part of all. Might I suggest to the children, forget about your ego. Realize early in your career that you will accomplish nothing by yourself. Concentrate on the process, not the prize. Play with all your heart all the time, and let the game come to you. Thank you so very much for this opportunity, and may all your tee shots find the center of the fairway.
For those of you that were here with us in the year 2000, I was originally going to allow this time for Bill T to finish his speech. However, the room is already booked for tomorrow. So we'll have to wait until next year. Before I turn it back over to Mike Cotner, I just want to say thank you all very much for allowing me the opportunity to present such a wonderful group of people into the Hall of Fame. Thank you so much. God bless everybody.
Thank you, Tim. I think he did another outstanding job. This is Tim's second time he's done the MC. Last year he pinched hit in a pinch. He did a great job. One more hand for him. And a final couple of words. There's a couple of folks that I'd like to thank. One being Lou Fiore and the town council, as well as Scott Copen. They've done an outstanding job for us. Mary Keller as our liaison to the town as well. She's done an outstanding job. Thank you. And lastly, the table that's very quiet in the back is our committee. These folks come together about 9 months out of the year, all volunteer for about an hour, hour and a half a month. And we like to have a good time. We just kick back, relax, but we put a lot of effort and time into this event. We look forward to servicing you folks next year. If any of you folks or know of anybody who would like to join our committee, get a hold of one of us as well. I just want to give you their names. They do often go unrecognized. Howie Bromwich, Chris Kuchar, Paul De Silva, Marion Dipple, Stan Dyna, Lou Fiore, Sam Fiore, Nancy Giglione, Tim Jensen, Mary Keller, Bob Keller, Scott Merrick, Carl Newshafer, Ina Romano, Tony Secondo, Fran Slattery, and Jerry Wayne. Thank you. See you all next year. There are still t-shirts available in the lobby if anyone still would like to purchase them.